just spoke to Tiff then.
And then Sharon, I'll get you to open up your PowerPoint onto this.
Day. We will also have time for questions at the end of the session that you'll get a chance to type into, or we'll talk about that at the end if you need to be unmuted as well. As I said before, this is our very first information session. Next term, which you already would have received an email, we have 2 more information days on Wednesday the 21st of October and Wednesday the 4th of November. You will also be able to access these videos about our school via our school YouTube, and we'll also put these links on our school Facebook page as well, so that everything you'll be able to see will be on that school YouTube link. The videos will include different slideshows, so there'll be 2 slideshows with more information about our school that we haven't treated tonight, also what to be expected when your child starts school. We'll also give you some information about Best Start, which is mandatory across New South Wales schools. Best Start is a really perfect time for kindergarten teachers to meet you and your child, and we get to do some fun activities with them before the actual school year starts. Now, when you get your package, which I'm going to hold up in a moment, you'll get your Best Start date and time as well. But just for your diary now, the Best Start days will be either the 28th of January, the 29th of January, or the 1st of February. You will get one of those dates with a half-an-hour time slot. If you've got any problems with your Best Start time and you can't make it, just let the office know, the office staff, and they'll let me know. We can reschedule a time that suits you. But this will all be in your pack that you will pick up next term. You will also be able to watch your children. There'll be Day in the Life of Kindergarten, so your kids will actually get to see some really great videos that start from the beginning of a child's day right till the end of the day when they get picked up. We'll also take you on a virtual tour of your school, which I know a lot of you would really love to see, especially if you are a new family to Engadine Public School. So we'll have that tour where you get to see our playground, some of our special rooms in the school, and our kindergarten rooms as well. We've also got some special story time with Mrs. Worth, one of our kindergarten teachers. We've also got my class this year performing a dance that hopefully your children will get to join in and do as well from home. We'll also have some videos uploaded about the buddy program, and we've got our captains who will speak to you about that buddy program. We'll also listen to our P&C President, Mrs. Yock. We'll have some information about before and after school care, which we call USH. And we'll also have some special videos about our visual arts program that we have here at the school as well. So as you can hear, lots and lots of information's coming your way next term. And on those 2 dates that I said, we'll have different videos uploaded on those 2 dates. And to finish, we'll have a really lovely video about our PBL program, which is our positive behaviour learning program as well that we've started in our school. So the kids will get to enjoy that as well. Our P&C representatives have also designed a 2021 kindergarten Facebook page as well, that you will be able to access any school information, and that's actually up now. Also, along with your folders, you will receive information about ordering uniforms online. There will be 2 dates, which I can also give you right now if you've got pen and paper, but again, you'll get all of this in your pack next term. These dates are Wednesday, the 28th of October from 3 till 5 p.m. and Friday, the 30th of October from 9 till 11 a.m. I'll just say those again. I know some people will be writing them down because they have to organise work schedules. So that was the 28th of October, 3 till 5 p.m. and Friday, the 30th of October, 9 till 11 a.m. So you'll actually be able to get in your pack, which you'll be picking up on that second Wednesday back in the term, you'll get a nice big package that has all your uniform requirements in it. You'll be able to access the website and then book your time slot on one of those 2 days that I just said, if you would like your child to try on the uniforms before you order. Now, the P&C ladies who are running our uniform shop have done an amazing job. They have actually put together a starter pack of what you would probably need straight away. They'll also include not only all your order forms, but they'll also include sizing. So if you don't get to come and try on, you'd rather not do that, they've got all the sizing and measurements there. So hopefully you'll just be able to do all your ordering online. So the ordering online will finish by the 4th of November, and then you'll receive an email to see when you can come to the school office to pick up your uniforms. So along with that uniform pack, you'll get your best start times. You'll also get 2 folders that I'm holding up now, a blue and a red folder. The red folder is full of information that we'll be talking about tonight and over some of the other presentations. Your blue folder is really important. These are the forms that our school administration managers will be needing, things that you will give permission to for your children to do while they're here at school. All of these things can be returned back to our school office. Now, there's going to be lots more things that I'm going to talk about tonight, but I will pass over to now Mrs. Sarah Swift to welcome you all, our school principal.
Thank you, Sharon. Hello, everyone. A great big virtual welcome to you all. It's magnificent looking at all these little tiny boxes with faces in them. Beautiful. We've got a great group of kindergarten children coming through. Looks as though we'll be able to run 3 kindergarten classes again in 2021, which is fabulous. So, and Sharon will talk to you about how that looks and the classes, etc., later on in the presentation. Just a very special welcome. Our kindergarten families, that's you guys, and your children starting school in 2021 are going through some, you know, to coin a much used phrase, unprecedented times at the moment. Who would have thought this time last year that we'd be sitting in the middle of a worldwide, you know, pandemic that's changed our lives and turned everything upside down, but here we are. And life has certainly thrown us some curveballs throughout this year at school, and I'm sure for everyone as families as well. But I'm really pleased to say that at Engadine Public School, we've coped well with everything that life's thrown at us pretty much. So staff have been sensational, parents have managed so many changes, it's unbelievable. And the students have been resilient and they've learned to be adaptable. So they've learned some skills this year throughout the midst of all this chaos that really they may not have learned without it. So that's always looking on the bright side, I guess. So yes, things are different. This time last year, we would have been welcoming you all into the school and we would have been having a nice chat in the library, quite a sociable event. And then afterwards, we would have shared a cuppa and some stories. But you know, this year it's not to be, and instead here we all are like a virtual 2020 Brady Bunch. So, you know, say hi to each other through your little squares. That's the way. Beautiful. Now, look, we'll aim to give you as much information as we can throughout this and through the packages, the hard copy packages, and Mrs. Rodashall, Sharon, will take you through the presentation in the moment. And then at the end, so just save your questions, because at the end of the presentation, we'll address any questions, all right? There's a couple of ways you can do this. If you're familiar with Zoom, down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see that there's a chat icon. So if you like, throughout the presentation, if you have a burning question, type it into the chat icon, and we will come back to that at the end of the presentation, okay? The other way you can do that is wait till the end, and then you can either raise your hand, use the little symbol that is a raised hand, unmute your microphone, and then we will be able to hear your question live and respond to you live as well. We'll refresh that in your memories at the end of the presentation, okay? Of course, you just all need to remember that this afternoon's session is being filmed. So if you don't want to be filmed, please just keep your camera switched off and then people won't see your face. I would love to see your face, but if you don't want to be filmed, that's absolutely fine. So that's the housekeeping out of the way. How many, can I see a bit of a show of hands? How many are first timers for Big School? I can see, how many hands can you see, Mrs. Ellis?
Thank you for that.
Oh, I can see quite a few.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can see 6.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, a few.
Quite a few. Well, welcome. That's absolutely fantastic. And you know, whether you're new or not, it doesn't matter, because every time you have a child starting kindergarten, it's a massive step. It's just this huge moment in your lives and in their lives. And yeah, kindergarten is one of those milestone moments in every child's and parent's life. So, you know, your children are going to be excited. They're going to learn so many new things. They're going to make new friends. They'll be really excited to visit the school canteen, all those wonderful things. But also there are going to be some nerves or some anxiety. So particularly as we can't currently have our usual transitions and orientation sessions for the children. We have lots of lovely videos, as Sharon's referred to, but it's not the same as coming on site. Okay, and we recognise that, and your children may have a little bit of anxiety around that. So your mission that I'm going to bestow onto you, should you choose to accept it, is to keep calm and stay positive. You are your child's best and most important role model. So if your child is saying that you're worked up and anxious, they are much more likely to feel worried as well. There's a huge range of emotional responses that are absolutely normal as children approach their first day at big school. And there are lots of things that you can do in the lead up to that day, things that you can do at home that will really help your children with those anxious nerves. Just simple things like practicing unpacking a lunchbox and figuring out, you know, what they're going to have for recess and what they're going to save for lunch, things like that. Breaking in the new school shoes so that they're not really uncomfortable on day one. And maybe even having a practice of wearing the new school uniform around the house so it doesn't feel all scratchy and uncomfortable. Mrs. Rodashel will go over some more suggestions as part of the slideshow in a moment. Basically, kindergarten's a year of tremendous growth and development. It's the foundation year. That's the year on which the next 13 years of formal schooling is built. By the end of 2021, your current little preschoolers are going to be independent boys and girls who are reading and writing and figuring out friendship groups on the playground and doing all those adult-like skills that they will have learned in that first formal year of school. So it's a big year, but we have the best kindergarten team. They're experienced, they're caring, they're highly committed, and they will guide and support your children through this really, really formative year. So what I would say to you though, as a parent who sent 4 children of my own off to kindergarten and cried every single time, is, you know, be calm, be patient, enjoy and treasure the next few months of having your preschoolers at home. I know that you're going to find these videos and presentations really informative and engaging. Please remember, we're here to help. Ask lots of questions this afternoon, and if you think of more later on, email us, call us. We're always here to help you and to answer any questions, even though we can't have you come in and be with us on site just at the moment. We're hoping in term 4, fingers crossed, we might see some lifting of restrictions, and we'll certainly keep you all posted about anything that means we can have you come and visit on site. In the meantime, I look forward to working with you all very, very soon. And now I'm going to share the screen and hand over to Mrs. Rodashel, who can get started on the slideshow for you.
Thank you, Mrs. Swift. And just while she's doing that, hopefully the screen's been shared now and you can see the beginning of the presentation. But I'll just say as well as what Mrs. Swift just said just beforehand, hopefully these videos that we will upload, there's going to be approximately 12 of them over the 2 different weeks. And apart from the 2 slideshow presentations, and the P&C talk as well, the rest of the videos will actually be for your children as well. So we're just getting our screen reversed. So hopefully there'll be plenty of things with the story time, the dancing, the live tour, and a few other videos as well. Hopefully your children will start to feel really comfortable. And as Mrs. Swift said, as we hear more about changes from the government, then hopefully we can make the changes here at school as well. I will just say though, and it was a great idea of Sarah's, that when they do their best start early next year, it's not mandatory that they wear their school uniform, but if they're really excited the week before they actually start school, then they're very welcome to come in their school uniform for their best start time. But naturally, that's not mandatory. They can do whatever they feel comfortable doing. So I'll take you through some of the information tonight. I just love this stage of the year. Sarah was right when she said that, you know, I've been on kindergarten for quite a few years now. Some of you will know my face already. And I love every term for different reasons. Term 1 is just such a beautiful year to get a beautiful term to get to know your children and just to see them settle into a new routine being big school children. And by the time they get to this stage in term 3, they're reading, they're writing, they're just doing the most amazing things, counting on from numbers, and it's really incredible to see their growth. So hopefully we'll get to experience all of this soon together. Tonight's information session is just a really small snapshot of what we actually do here. There's another presentation, as I said, that will be next term in week 2 that I will upload as well. I didn't want to overwhelm you all on the first night. But naturally, if there are things that you really need answers to, then please make sure you ask us at the end. Okay. Oops.
No,
that's not it. Won't be a second. That's okay. We've been learning lots of new technology skills here at school, so we'll use the mouse instead of the arrows. Okay, great. All right, hopefully you'll be able to see my second page now, which is our information board. So you'll know already from driving past our school that we have our school information board that has all our dates on it that you need to know for upcoming events. On the one on the side where the handwriting is, that's our little kindergarten board. So parents can come in of an afternoon and check maybe what might be happening or what might be due that week or the following weeks. As you can see, school starts at 9:15 and finishes at 3:15. Our gates are locked at 9:15 for safety reasons. So if for some reason you are running a little bit late, just make sure you bring your child through the school office and you'll have to sign on there. They must make sure that they come with a parent or a family member to sign in. They can't arrive to school late on their own. Here's some pictures of our kindergarten rooms that we've used this year and also will be our 3 rooms for next year as well. You can see we've got kindergarten yellow, kindergarten green, and our demountable kindergarten orange, which is just the most beautiful room. We every teacher and I think other classes are jealous of this brand new demountable. It's just gorgeous. But all 3 classrooms have all the same resources, technology, interactive whiteboards, so they're great learning spaces for your children. So as you can see, there's some of the children already working in their classrooms, and we have key learning areas that we teach naturally in our programs that cover English, mathematics, science and technology, history and geography, creative arts, and PDHPE stands for personal development, health and physical education. So we cover all of those strands in our early stage 1 program. If this is your first child starting school, you'll hear the word naturally kindergarten a lot, but we're also referred to as early stage 1. When your child moves on to year 1 and year 2, then they are called stage 1. When they move into the primary for years 3 and 4, they're called stage 2. And when they go to years 5 and 6, they're called stage 3. But just for now, if you hear early stage 1, then you know that we're talking about your lovely kindergarten children. Now, in my introduction before, I talked about our brand new PBL program, our Positive Behaviour Learning program at Engadine Public School, and we have our 4 expectations here. The children are very clever at reciting to us being safe, respectful, responsible learners. And I just love our logo. We actually had stage 3 children, 2 children that worked on this logo together last year. We had lots of children that entered a competition to see what logo we would be using for this new discipline program, and it was lovely that 2 children who'd worked on this together were our winners. So as you can see, every week students are taught a PBL lesson. Each lesson has a focus, including our 4 school expectations, which was what I just said, the safe, respectful, responsible learners. We talk about anti-bullying, talk about our behaviour expectations in various school settings. We talk about values, and these lessons will happen on a Tuesday after scripture, so the whole school is actually doing these lessons at the same time. And it's really lovely. Even the kindergarten children are really getting longer and bigger words now. One of our most recent PBL lessons was all about conflict and how to resolve conflict in a positive way to make people feel valued and make friendships really positive. So even the kindergarten children understand the PBL language that we use here at school. PBL is integrated into our school award system as well. So next year, when you come to school, usually around weeks 3 or 4, we have an information night that you will be invited to, and I'll show you your children's behaviour folder that you will receive. Once they collect 10 PBL awards, that will equal a silver award. And then the progress goes on from there. Once they get 3 silvers, they get their gold. 3 golds, they go to a medallion, which is naturally later on in their primary years. You can see the PBL awards there. They're actually 4 different colours. So we do actually have pink, yellow, blue and green. But that's just an example of what your children will be bringing home. And as I said, once they get 10 of these, then they'll be able to get a silver award. We, at the moment, we're actually doing all our assemblies via Zoom. So children are still getting their awards, but hopefully next year when all our restrictions are lifted, you'll be invited to our assemblies that we have once a fortnight. We do have a K to 6 assembly twice a term, but we will let you know if your child's winning one of these awards. Children can also get a fast and frequent as well. So if they're doing the right thing on the playground or even in the classroom, we've actually replaced our old system of the green hands, which some of you will remember because you've got older children in the school, and they can get a fast and frequent. If they get one of these, they put it in their class box, and at the end of every week, we draw out a winner and then they get a canteen voucher. Okay, so this is actually where we put our bags in the morning. This is, in the top photo is our library wall, for those of you who aren't familiar, and you'll see this on our virtual tour when I upload that tour next term. And on the library wall, we have a spot for our kindergarten classes to put their bags of a morning. Even though school starts at 9:15, they are allowed to be in the playground from 8:45 onwards. That's when gates will be opened and a teacher will be out on duty. So if they're playing with their buddies or their kindergarten friends, they can put their bag down in this area so that they're not going to classrooms and being out of bounds. The bottom part of the playground is our K to 2 playground for playing just in the mornings. And in the top playground is for years 3 to 6. But during the school day, after they have their eating times, they are allowed to play in both playgrounds. And as you can see, just a few extra photos of some of the children using their concrete resources in the classroom. There's lots of visual stimulus in all 3 kindergarten rooms to help with their literacy and numeracy programs. And lots of group work and hands-on activities like I just said. Absolutely, they love doing their OT groups, which is all about fine motor skills and developing, tough fingers, manipulating Play-Doh, tongs, beading, and all of those sorts of things. Plus, naturally, we have our literacy and maths groups as well. We also have learning goals for the children. So on their tables, the children have a set of learning goals for the term, things that we negotiate with them that they can work towards. It may be an academic focus, or it might be as simple as tying their shoelace or being a responsible job person and going on messages. So on the left-hand side there, you can see some examples of their goals on the table. And on the other side, there's a few examples of some goals that they may have as well when they're doing their literacy groups in reading and writing sessions. We also have learning goals for the day as well. So as a whole class, I know my children love to say good morning to Walt every morning. Walt stands for what are we learning today? And we usually put about 3 or 4 goals up that we're aiming to reach by the end of the day to see what we've learned in one of those key learning areas that I told you about at the beginning of the presentation. Here you can see some children eating their recess with their new friends and their buddies. So we always, if it's a fine day, we eat outside in our K to 2 area. If we have rainy weather, we will eat inside naturally. We invite our buddies to come down, especially for those first 4 weeks of school, just to make your kindergarten children feel really comfortable so that they're not anxious about what they should be eating from their lunchbox or where the toilet is or how do they get to a certain place in the school. So there'll be lots of support for your children, not only in the classroom but outside as well. Now here you can see a photo of our school uniforms, and you can see on the left hand side there we've got our summer uniform for boys and girls. In the middle we've got our sports uniform, and on the right hand side we've got our winter uniforms as well. As I said before, you'll get about 4 or 5 pages in your pack when you come and pick that up from the 21st of October, I'm sure I said, which is the second week back at school on the Wednesday. You can pick your packs up from any time after that date. They'll be ready here. And there's lots of examples in those packs to show you what you really need just to start school, just from the beginning, and also and just some sizing as well. If you really don't want to come and try on the uniforms, you definitely don't have to. Those sizing little hints are there for you as well. School hats. Now we tell you to label everything, but school hats is definitely something we sell here in the office because they're the most often that things go, the often item that goes missing. So they're $15 you can pick up from the school office at any time. Our school administration officer, Mrs. Smithson, also said to tell you that Claudine's does stack a few of our uniform items. It's a fairly small selection, but they're more expensive. So because we do have our uniform shop, we're really lucky that you can get those for cheaper prices here at school. You'll be able to do all your ordering online and go into the website. There's a Q&R code as well to make it easy for you. And if you've got any questions, the ladies are just only too happy to help you and support you. So as I said before, label everything. This is our normal day where we find hats if they've all been taken off for dance or jumpers. So we would really appreciate if you help us, just like you do at preschool, labeling everything, even socks and shoes, because we do have a sandpit that the children can play in as well. Now this is a great photo. I love this photo. You do not have to order the school bag from Engadine Public School, but it's a great size bag. And I can say from experience with my own children, when we ordered our school bag, they normally do last. They're really quite strong and they're a great size, because in the next photo, you'll see all the things that go into this bag. Sometimes when you buy smaller backpacks, they don't actually have enough room for everything. So if you do want to purchase one of these bags, naturally they'll be on the order forms as well. And we encourage the kids to put key rings of anything that they want. It might be part of your Christmas present, so they can easily identify their bag, because a lot of them naturally are all the same. They can put 1 or 2 or 3 key rings on. Some people put name stickers on them, so you can decorate your bag as much as you like. There's a little bit of a close-up, a special emblem to show what the bags look like. And these are some of the things that actually go into the bag. So by the time they've got a really big lunchbox, a separate container for crunch and sip, which I'll talk about in a moment, drink bottles, a take-home folder, a library bag, a raincoat, there's not much room left. And if you've got a really tiny, small backpack, it makes it really hard for the kids to pack their bags and zip them up. So just something to think about when you're purchasing a bag, whether it's from our school or somewhere else, just make sure it's a good size. Okay, so what to put in your child's lunchbox, and Sarah was talking about this before, some healthy ideas. I mean, you naturally have probably been doing this for quite a while for preschool, but these are just some suggestions. We really encourage our bottled water only during the day, no fizzy drinks or juices, especially if they are having a day inside. It just makes a really big sticky mess. So we really encourage them to have water that they can refill their drink bottles if they've drank the whole bottle. There's just a few more suggestions, and the fruit pieces and the vegetable pieces are a really great idea, because at our school, lots of schools do have this. We have crunch and sip, which is right in the middle of our first session in our learning time. So we encourage the children to bring in some fruit or a vegetable, not anything that's too messy. They can save their oranges and watermelon that gets really juicy for outside at recess, but something that they can just grab and keep working at the same time. And we encourage them to bring this in a different container, a smaller container, so their big lunchbox isn't taking up all their room on their desk. And there's just a few photos of the kids at crunch and sip time. Now, I know some children can be very fussy eaters. I had one of them as well. But crunch and sip is a great way as well, especially in term 1. We get to talk to the kids about what they've brought in for crunch and sip. So then maybe when they see their friends eating something that they haven't tried before, hopefully they'll come home and say to you, oh, Mum or Dad, can I try this today? Such and such had blueberries. I've never tasted them before. So hopefully, as we're all in the same classroom and working together, learning together as well, to eat nice, healthy snacks. And I've already said that before. So we just encourage the kids to have bottled water and save their sweet drinks and fizzy drinks for special treats on the weekend. So the packaging, like I said before, just make sure that you're practicing already. It just makes it easier when we've got 20 children in a classroom and they're all asking us to open their lunch boxes. Naturally, we're there to help them all the time, but it would be great if they can learn that themselves. Snap lock bags are a really good way as well to store food instead of cling wrap, which sometimes can get a little bit tricky. And just that smaller container for crunch and sip, like I said. So calling for volunteers, you will hear from our P&C president next term. She's about to give me one of her lovely videos as well, but we always love to have parents in the school. We're actually missing our parents a lot at the moment during COVID restrictions. So it'll be great to have our parents back on board as soon as the restrictions are lifted. And we love to see them working in the canteen, working in our classrooms, helping with our home reading program, excursions, all those things which we'll tell you about next year. But our canteen here is open on Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays. So if you'd like to get in contact with our P&C through our website, if you think that you'll be able to help next year, that would be wonderful. They'd love to hear from you. And I'm sure Mrs. Amanda Yock will tell you more about that in her video as well. Just a little picture here of holding scissors. I know sometimes we don't like to give children who haven't started school yet scissors, but we really encourage them now that they're getting towards the end of this year, going into their first year of school, encouraging them to do some cutting activities. Here's a picture of the correct pencil grip as well. And just really encouraging, if they want to at home and they want to do cutting and drawing and colouring, then definitely encouraging that. Please do not worry if your child is not interested. I have another daughter who had one that was a finicky eater and one that wasn't interested. All she wanted to do was play dress-ups all day. So these are just things to encourage your children if they're interested. And if they're not, they'll get to do all of that when they're starting school next year. As part of your pack, you will get a name tag, not Bruce Springsteen as my example, but you'll actually also get a name card for your child to take home with you next term. So they can start to look at their numbers, their colours, their shapes, how we write our name in New South Wales Foundation font, which I know naturally some of us are not used to, or we never wrote in that sort of font when I was at school. I know some parents have always found that they just write everything in capitals. So we really try to encourage the kids that, you know, only the first letter of their first name and last name, the beginning of a sentence, once they start writing, proper nouns, all those sorts of things are only for capital letters. So that's why we include this example, because I know sometimes it's hard as parents to remember the right way to write the letter A or the right way to write a letter G when there's all these fancy fonts that we can access on computers. So you'll be able to have one of these at home, and we'll have one at school as well for the kids. Using technology. So technology is a big part of Engadine Public School. We have iPads in our kindergarten classrooms. We also have a computer lab between two of our kinder rooms, but all three kindergarten classes can access. And we have computers in our library that the kindergarten children can access as well. And I must say, hats off to our early stage 1 kindergarten families this year when we had to do remote learning at home. It was amazing how many children were accessing their reading eggs and their numeracy activities online. So we've tried to continue that naturally at school as well. But yes, a really big hats off to families as well who try and integrate that as much as they can at home, without overusing it, of course. So the lower playground here, you'll get to see this on our virtual tour. We are so lucky. We've done so much fundraising over the last few years. We've got beautiful markings on our playgrounds, and which the kids can play games on, clock games, alphabet games. There's 100 squares, all sorts of things to keep your children entertained. We have equipment on our back grass area. We also have equipment out the side of our support unit classrooms as well. So lots of things for your children to do in the playground at recess and lunchtime. We've also had great sports leaders this year that open up the sports storeroom every recess and lunch so the children can borrow equipment as well. Okay, our toilet. So there's a photo down the bottom of the outside of our toilets. As the children walk in, they can see the sink area just there, which are all naturally stacked with soap at all times now. And we also, further down, there's just an aisle with the cubicles as well. So we take the children in kindergarten on lots of toilet breaks during term 1, because I know they're not always used to going just at recess and lunchtime. So we definitely normally take them over as a whole class, so it's not too intimidating. And these toilets are for K-2 children. We do have primary toilets that the primary children use up in the top playground. This is just an example of our school hall. So you can see this is where we would do our assemblies. We also have discos. We run our dancing in there at the moment, which has been lots of fun. We've got an outside dance company called Groove Nation that are running dance lessons once a week in here at the moment. We also, some of the primary children have done plays on our stage, lots of things, presentation days. We're very lucky to have a really big open hall to fit all our families in. And afternoon pickup. So there's a look at the classrooms again. So kindergarten yellow and kindergarten green, we always walk the children out. We make sure that we see the parents as they come up. Now, if you're a parent that's already at our school, you'll know that this is a little bit different during our COVID times. Because our school is closed to parents at the moment, we let them go from gates at staggered times. Hopefully next year we'll be back to normal. Parents will be lined up or just milling around their class area stairs. And we send off the children one at a time, so we can definitely see who the child is going home with, for safety reasons, of course. And that bottom photo is just the bottom of my yellow stairs. There's a little laneway. Kindergarten orange, who are just behind us, they come around into that laneway and they meet all the parents. So it's a great way that you can, whether your child is in the same class as friends or different classes, you can all stand in the same area and have a quick, you know, a quick chat and a catch up of an afternoon while you're waiting for your children. For the first 2 weeks, we normally let kindergarten finish half an hour earlier at 2:45, and then by week 4, they're usually finished by 3:15. But again, you'll get all of those dates in your pack. Mrs. Dunlop is our friendly and lovely school administration manager. You'll get to see her lovely face on my video for our tour, along with Mrs. Smith as well, our school administration officer. These ladies can't do enough to help the staff and the families here at Engadine Public School. So if you've got any questions at all, if you're worried about something or you just need something clarified, please ring or email the school and they hopefully can answer any questions, and I'll be able to help them as well if it's a directed thing for kindergarten. A few more extra photos here so you can see for sport. So down in our lower playground, all the different things that we do to cover that personal development, health and physical education key learning area. Lots of modified games, lots of fitness, fun runs. We teach dance. We do teach gymnastics on every second year, and we have specialised teachers that come in for that. We've just recently had our K-6 sports day yesterday, which was such a treat. And the K-2 children got to take home lots of stickers and ribbons as well. So they really had a great day. So lots of lovely ways that we cater for sport in the K-2 playground. There's just another little photo. Usually once a semester we have a disco as well, which hopefully will be all back to normal next year. We usually have a K-2 disco at one time and then a 3 to 6 disco later on. Sometimes we have themes for our discos, and it's a great afternoon for the kids to get together with all their friends. Kindergarten excursions as well. So we normally take the children on an excursion, especially when we're doing our science unit living things, and we take them to one of our local zoos. Again, that's been a little bit tricky this year, but hopefully we'll be back to normal as usual. We have our Living Chicks program that we did get to have this year as well, where the children get to see the eggs hatch and look after the chicks for 2 weeks, which is a great program. Okay, establishing routines. We quickly touched on that before, but just making sure that small children love structure, even though it can be quite repetitive sometimes for us. But just making sure that your daily routine includes the meal time, talking time, activity time, some reading time where you're reading to your child. Remember that when they do start school, they're going to be having really busy days, 5 days a week, which sometimes is a little bit extra more than preschool or after school care. So they're going to be tired. So structure can be quite important. Naturally, as busy families, we have things that throw us out sometimes, but if you can mainly just keep your routine fairly structured for them, I'm sure that will be helpful so that you don't have too many cranky, tired children at home. As you can see there, that's just an example of what's going to be in the front of your red folder. It will say your child's name, and it will say your very first day of school. So next year it will be Tuesday, the 2nd of February, and it will be starting at 10:15, where you'll be welcomed into the school, and the kids will start to meet our year sixes there and then, and hopefully within that first week they'll get to meet their buddies as well. The Monday before that, and then the Friday and Thursday the week before, are those best start dates, like I said, which you only have to come for one for half an hour, and you'll get that information in your pack. I think I've talked far too much, and I think it's definitely your turn. So we really look forward to seeing you all. I'm sorry if I do speak quite quickly, because I know that lots of you have got dinners and things to get ready. That was only just a really small snapshot. There's going to be lots more information about what's involved with Best Start, and a few extra things to do with curriculum and how best we can help your children settle in as well. But if you've got questions now, I know that Mrs. Ellis is probably going to read some of the typed ones in, and then we'll see if we've got any hand raises, and we can unmute now as well if you'd like to
Just
ask.
in 1 minute, just wait until we stop sharing the screen. So please be patient if you accidentally get a photo of my grandkids. 1 second.
They're beautiful grandkids.
Okay, how do I?
Stop asking me.
Here we go. It's all right. We're all back to here.
And there are a couple of questions.
So we've got a couple of questions that we'll start with that were in the chat pane.
Can you see the chat?
I can't. I'll have to. Is that okay,
I'm gonna
Mrs.
read
Ellis?
them.
Yes. We'll just ask Mrs. Ellis to read the ones first, and then if there's any extras, we can unmute later on.
I can't unmute myself.
Don't
worry, I'll read.
Oh, can you read this out? Yep. So the first question is stance protocol on bullying.
So thank you, Amanda. We do have a question here that is, what is the school's stance or protocol on bullying?
Okay, so with our positive behaviour learning program, we're trying, oh, I can stand back in front of the camera now, can't I? Sorry. We're actually trying to address all these things before they actually happen in our weekly lessons. We also have lots of sharing time in sharing circles as well, where the kids get to talk about anything that they're concerned about, and positives as well. So hopefully we get to that before it actually happens. Now, in the classrooms, there are also lots of positive rewards. Apart from those fast and frequents, teachers do have their own reward systems as well on a daily basis. But if the bullying has occurred, we do teach children to make sure that if it's something small, that they can say no and walk away. Naturally, if it persists, we want them to tell a teacher. And we do have a system here at school, depending on the extent of the circumstance. We have reflection at our school as well, where they have to spend lunchtime talking about what's actually happened, and that's their consequence, and how they can actually fix that as well. And that reflection time is with one of our assistant principals. So depending on the level of the bullying and the level of the behaviour, naturally we have some levels in place that if it's a continuous behaviour, Mrs. Swift naturally is involved, parents are naturally notified as well.
Okay, the next question is, what is the alternative scripture lessons? And that's from Simon Cooper.
Sorry, I'm just going to,
sorry,
no, you're quite okay. Oh yes, and Mrs. Swift's just reminded me as well, the anti-bullying policy is also on our website. So if you'd actually like to read that and you've got any other concerns, then please feel free afterwards just to email the school, and that can always be sent to either myself or Mrs. Swift. So for scripture, in kindergarten, we actually have Anglican scripture, we have Catholic scripture classes, and then we have non-scripture. So at this stage, we don't have any, what's it called? Ethics. So I had values in my head. We haven't got ethics classes for kindergarten.
This year we don't, but at the end of this year, our scripture coordinator is going to send out expressions of interest to see if there are a number of people who would choose to do ethics classes, and we're in contact with the providers to see if there is someone available who could come to our school and take ethics classes instead of scripture classes.
We have had ethics teachers before in our school for primary. It's just actually having the people that are trained in those areas as well. For this year, as I said, we had Anglican, we had Catholic classes for our kindergartens, and we had non-scripture as well, where they naturally spent their time with their kindergarten teachers. Any other questions?
Yeah,
Mrs.
you've got a
Ellis?
few questions,
Okay.
Sharon.
Great.
So Amanda Adams, she's asked a few questions. How
Okay.
many kids are enrolled? Number one.
Okay, so from Amanda Adams. Okay, so we're at the moment, we have actually at the moment looking like we will have 3 full classes for kindergarten. It's still early, numbers change all the time at this stage of the year, but at this stage we're really excited that we do have 3 full classes at the moment.
Okay, same. Do many teachers job share?
We do have a few job share situations in our school across K to 6. Again, teachers aren't decided on as yet for next year. But I know that the situations that I've worked with, we've actually had, I've been a full-time teacher this year on kindergarten in Kindergarten Yellow, and the other 2 classes were job share, and they work amazingly. Amazing communication between the 2 teachers, great support for each other, so they do work really well. That's not to say that that will be the same next year because staff hasn't been decided yet.
So again, Amanda Adams, are there many composite classes?
So again, it depends on each year and it depends on numbers. So at the moment, we have composite classes in 1 and 2. We also have composite classes across our years 3 and 4, so that's stage 2. But in stage 3 and years 5 and 6, we don't have any composite classes this year. Again, that changes every year depending on numbers, and we've got that we get that from the department of what we're allowed to have in classes and how all that works as well. Numbers change all the time with kindergartens coming in and year 6s going out and new families in the area. We just have to wait to the beginning of the year, and sometimes we don't even form classes until the end of the first week. Sometimes it doesn't get done on the day 1 because it just depends on numbers that are coming into the school. So yes, we do have composite classes, but they change every year.
And one more question from Amanda Adams. Aside from iPads and computers, what types of technology do you offer?
Okay, so apart from iPads and computers, we do have laptops in the library as well. We've also done lots of work with our robotics program this year as well. So the kids have been able to use the Ozobots to learn and learn coding. We've done storybooks on the Gruffalo where they've actually had to follow the path along as well with their Ozobots. It's been amazing. And the robotics resources that we have in the school, but we've also hired as well for a term, have really challenged some of the stage 2 and stage 3 kids as well. So lots of those things happening in our science and technology area.
Okay, Sharon, just Mrs. Ravashel, just a clarification on the scripture question. Sorry, does ethics replace scripture?
Oh, so no, ethics doesn't replace scripture. So there'll always be Anglican and Catholic scripture classes. The ethics class is just an extra class. If you don't want your child to be in an Anglican or a Catholic group, they can choose the ethics class as well. Now, I think that will replace non-scripture though. Am I right to say?
No, that will just be a 4th choice.
It will be, okay, so they'll still have their Anglican choice, their Catholic choice, their ethics choice, but then if you don't want one of those 3 choices, then non-scripture will be the 4th choice.
And a question from Sadie Hughes, what is the approximate number of kindy students for a full class?
So normally we don't go over 20 in a kindergarten class. Now, depending on if we ever have a composite, a K1 composite, that may change. That may go up to 22. But that's the guidelines from the department. Every school principal has the rights to decide on what works best. And usually Mrs. Swift and myself talk about that. If we've got really full numbers and we want to keep the classes straight classes and not a composite class, then we may negotiate. This year we've had 3 classes of 17, which has been really lovely, but they could get up to 20. They may even go to 21, and we may decide to have a class of 21 instead of having a composite class. It just depends on the cohort of children and on the staff on that grade and what the rest of the numbers in the school look like as well.
Okay, tell Kathy Portelli, this is not a silly question.
Not a silly question, Kathy?
What is a composite?
It's not a silly question. There's no silly questions. A composite class is just a mixture of the 2 year groups. So kindergarten and year 1 put together, or at the moment we have 2 1-2 classes. So year 1 and year 2. So there might be 14 year 1s with 9 year 2s. At the moment in our school, we've got 4 classes. So it might be 15 year 3s and 14 year 4s. So it's just a combination of 2 year classes.
Okay. No questions here. Do you want me to read this one? No questions here, but I would like to note that our time with our first child throughout kindy last year was so great. All the teachers are fantastic support and communicate with each other and the parents on a regular basis. They do a great job.
Can you be heard, Mrs. Ellis, or am I?
Probably not.
And who is that by?
That is from Alicia Stone.
Oh,
So
Alicia
thank you,
Stone,
Alicia.
thank you so much. I'm not sure if you can hear Mrs. Ellis if she's unmuted, but thank you for your kind words. It was really lovely that you had such a valuable year last year with your child starting school. We appreciate the positive feedback. Thank you so much.
Amanda Adams has got another question. What activities do you offer? Gardening, debating, etc.
Yes, so we do have a gardening program in our school where they get to go and look after the gardens. We've actually had vegetables that we've planted as well. So K to 6 children can be involved in that if they want to. What was the second question? Sorry, about after the gardening.
What other activities do we have?
What was the other
Debating.
example? Oh, the debating. So yes, we haven't had any debating this year naturally because of the COVID restrictions, but we do have public speaking that goes through our school, and we have in years past actually taken debating teams as well out to compete against other schools. So even back in early stage 1, our public speaking normally does start in. We naturally do public speaking within our classroom environment for their news and their speeches, but for them to go to the next level and compete against other schools, that can actually happen in early stage 1 as well. We can get a winner from our class and our grade competitions, and then they can go and represent our school. So that only ever used to be primary children, but now it does start as early as stage 1. Debating, I'm not sure next year what will be offered. We'll have to wait and see. That's usually been only for primary students, but we definitely have had those programs within our school.
There's no other questions at the moment.
No other questions?
Would anybody like to raise their hands and unmute themselves to do a live question? Come on, be daring.
I'm loving the background of this person that I can see.
I know. I'm loving
the
Swiss Alps.
Yes, very
What
sharp.
about Amy Robertson? What about junior dancing?
Oh, okay.
And Melissa Latta has a question.
Okay, I'll just answer Amy's first. So junior dancing. So we've actually still run our dance group this year, and our dance teachers have been amazing and been uploading things for families to see virtually. Our junior dance groups is usually for year 1 and year 2. And then we have older primary groups as well, years 3 and 4 and years 5 and 6. Now, early stage 1 does still do dancing, and we really love our dancing time because we work towards performing on Education Week and Grandparents' Days, and sometimes if we have a school fete. So the kindergarten children will still be doing dance, but they won't be part of that junior dance program until they get to year 1. They can try out then.
So I think it was Sharon. Melissa Latta had a question. Is Melissa unmuted?
Melissa, have you unmuted yourself for your question?
I think so.
Great, yes, I can hear you.
It was just regarding the after-school care, before and after-school care.
Yes. Sorry, keep going.
Just with the first couple of weeks, how they start and finish at different times, can they still use before and after-school care, or like what time?
Yes, no, they definitely can. So if you need to access before and after school care straight away in the first week of school, the kindergarten teachers will look after your children. So that's not a problem at all. They will stay with us. The 8:45 is when before school care bring them all over anyway. So before school care is not a problem because teachers will be on duty and the staff from USH bring them over at 8:45. But for after school, yes, we always have some kindergarten children that stay with us for that half an hour, just for those first 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
There's a couple more questions. Did we answer the one about junior dancing? Sorry.
Yes, I answered the one about junior dance.
Louis Campo just says, forgot to mark my calendar. What are the dates for the next transition sessions again?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure if I can just see. So the next transition sessions where the videos will be uploaded are next term in week 2, which is the 21st of October, and week 4, it's on my piece of paper, sorry, week 4 Wednesday was the 4th
of
and
November.
4th of November. So the 21st of October is when you can, you'll be able to go onto our school YouTube and have a look at some of our videos, and you'll also be able to start picking up your packs from the school office. And then the second one will be the 4th of November. I'll just quickly go back and add about USH as well. Once the children are finishing at 3:15, please don't worry about your kindergarten children getting to USH, because either the kindergarten staff will take them to their lining up area, or usually the USH staff come down for the first 2 terms and get the kindergarten children. So you won't have to worry about your children being on their own between the end of the school day and going to USH.
Okay, so Sharon, there's a couple more things.
Few
Emily
more?
Haynes is got her hand up. Is
Yes.
Emily there?
Emily, are you there? Would you like to unmute yourself?
I can't see Emily.
I can see Emily's name, but I can't
Um,
see. Oh, here she comes. Great.
Okay, cool. Hi. My daughter, her therapist believes that she might need some extra assistance in school. The speech therapist works with the school, and she's at the moment organizing like a meeting for her.
Yes.
Or trying to get in contact with the school. What do you have in place for kids that might need that, or because I'm a little bit worried about that?
Yes, no. So when you start school next year and you get to know your class teacher, we then, if the speech therapist is already working at the school and familiar, we usually have a few either speech therapists or OTs that come down and work with kindergarten children. It's wonderful. Between our 2 rooms, we can access like a little learning hub area as well, so they can do some one-on-one work together. So they'll negotiate that time with yourself, but also with the class teacher, so that your child's not missing out on anything important. I mean,
Okay.
everything's important, but you know what I mean, like, so that that they can definitely go and access and have that one-on-one support.
Is there anything else I need to do besides like organizing like a chat with the school, like what the speech therapist said? I think her name's Robin.
Hi, Emily. It's Sarah here. You've done all the right things. Obviously, you're talking to Robin Lane, I presume, who's the speechy, and
Yes.
she works really closely with our school. So definitely give us a call at the school, and we can put you in touch with the learning and support team, and just start organising that pathway for you, so that we can make sure that your little one has all the support they need.
Fantastic. She has an older sister at the school, so I'm sure it won't be as difficult, but I was just a bit worried.
Not a problem. Yeah, all too easy for us. Just give us
Thank you very
a call.
much.
Can you just
Thanks,
ask
Emily.
Crystal Allen? Her son looks like he's got his hand up if she has a question.
Crystal Allen, it looks like someone in your family's got their hand raised. Do they want to ask something? Hello.
Is that
Do you
Brendan?
got any pets?
Brendan.
Say that again, Brendan.
Do you got any pets?
Have we got any pets? Well, we've just finished with our chicks, so our chicks have just gone back to the farm. I must say, Brendan, that this year we have had fish in the past, but when we have our news days, if you've got any pets at home, we would love for you to bring in a photo or a drawing, and you can show your pets to your class as well. Oh my goodness, who's this?
Billy.
Oh, there you go. So if you've got a photo of Billy, you can bring the photo to school, and you can show your class. That was a good question. Thank you.
Okay, you want to go, Billy?
That's gorgeous. That's why I love kindergarten. Been here for a long time. This is the reason why.
Couple more questions.
Few more
Sharon?
questions? Yes.
Are there any foreign languages at this point?
So this year, again, COVID restrictions, but we have taught French in our school as well. I would have to look into next year to see what we're actually giving. Yes, Mrs. Sorry.
We do offer French as an extracurricular before school.
Yes, sorry. Yes, that's right. French is actually an extracurricular language that they do before school. So we don't actually per se have any languages that are happening in school hours, but there are lots of different units of work in our history and geography lessons where children and classes will be looking at other countries, and there has been some amazing items of children singing songs in other languages and learning how to count and all those sorts of things. So depending on what class your child's in and what they're learning that year, there is definitely that opportunity sometimes.
Just one more question, Sharon. Are
Yes.
we able to choose our kids' bunnies? So
Oh, yes. So this has been a little bit different due to the buddy system this year and not actually coming in to do your transition days. If you actually know somebody that is going into year 6 next year and you'd like to put in a request, please email the school and the ladies in the office will let me know. I actually have already had 1 or 2 requests, I think, as well. We just recommend probably not family. So if it's a sibling, if it's a cousin, you know, they get enough time together, you know, outside of school hours. But if it's a neighbour or a really good friend and they'd really like to have them as their buddy, just put it in an email for me and hopefully we can make that happen in the first week of school next year.
And sorry, Sharon, this is one question.
Another question?
To answer. Just want to clarify, are we able to walk our child into the school grounds to their classrooms on the first day?
Oh, definitely, yes. And
Depending.
sorry. Without the COVID restrictions, absolutely. I always love to talk to all the mums and dads, grandparents, have boxes of tissues for some mums and dads. But yes, that's a really lovely morning that we normally have where we're taking photos and I let you know about what's going to be happening for that first week at school. We're really hoping that will happen. We're in a different world at the moment, so let's keep our fingers crossed due to the COVID restrictions. Any final questions? I think that's all our typed ones. Any more that need to be unmuted? I think Mrs. Ellis can't see any more.
Brendan might have his hand up.
Oh, Brendan, yes. Have you got another question?
I'm saying, what time is lunch?
Oh, good question. So we have lunch at 20 minutes past 1. And we sit down for 10 minutes and have our eating time. And if you take longer to eat your lunch, that's totally fine. And then there's another bell or some music in our playground. And then you get to go and play with your friends for about half an hour, 30 minutes. Good question. Thank you.
And Mr. Rosashel, that might be all, unless there's anyone else that might be all.
If there's any more questions, I think we're nearly done. If this finishes and you feel like you've really needed to ask something and you forgot, please make sure that you just either ring or email the school. I normally check with the office staff every day to see if there's anything that's come in related to kindergarten, and we're only, you know, too happy to help you. Anything else, Mrs. Swift?
No, nothing else, but so lovely to see so many of you tuning in. Fantastic questions from Brendan and everybody else. And we can't wait to see you next year. But before then, we'll sure that you'll be in touch with us and pick up your packages as well.
Yes. So you'll get to hear my voice again and some of the other kindergarten staff on some of our videos next term. But it was really nice to see all your faces. And thank you so much for joining in on our very first Zoom session that we've ever had for kindergarten transition. And please remember, there's no silly questions because, you know, it's definitely a really big step for some of you who haven't had children in primary school before or K-6 before. So we welcome you and thank you so much for your input tonight as well. And we'll hopefully meet you very soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.